Hey everyone, and hail to the fellowship. We thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your nerdy Nomi reviewer, the Elvin Barber, and joining me is the Lord Loyals himself, TC, the Token Cripple.
Hello.
And we're those guys. TC, we are on episode number 8 of National Treasure. I almost blinked out there. That's
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this episode it definitely dragged.
Yep.
It definitely drags. A lot of slow moments.
And literal slow motion.
Yeah, in literal slow motion.
And it's supposed to be
Oh,
this high tension thing. It's like you probably could have cut a solid 10 minutes off of this.
yeah, it got to the point where it was just like, all right, can we move on?
Yeah.
Can we move on? Like, I understand that you're trying to display and demonstrate how dramatic this scene is, but you've dragged it out for so long that I'm already over it. I'm over it.
I wish there was a fast forward button. Or just a faster playback.
Just a flash, yeah, that's true. So the episode starts with Crypto Queen talking to
Raphael.
Raphael, whom they believe is Salazar. And she's like, "You killed my brother, and I'm going to go after Jess if you don't tell me the information I need." And instead of, I don't know, I feel like they're not really portraying him as the best father, because all his responses are just like, "It's okay. She's long gone now. I don't like you won't be able to get to her." And I feel like any father would have been on alarm regardless of how far his daughter got away. Like,
Especially when you're dealing with a billionaire with essentially infinite resources.
yes, especially if that's the case. So, like, the time for trash talk or some type of back and forth is not really. It's not really the time for that.
And I think I remember saying in our last review, there were times where he said, "Oh, the treasure's the only thing that matters." I'm like, "What
Right.
about your child's life?" I feel
Yeah.
like that should matter more to you. And if it doesn't, you're a shit father.
Correct. This is how they portrayed him in this show. Let's see. So yeah, bunch of that. Then we get to they're all in the room talking about the breakout. The only voice of reason is Oren, surprisingly. He's like, yeah, this is a horrible idea to try to break your dad out of this Mexican prison.
Yeah, just don't do it.
Like, we should not be doing this at all, especially you, Jess. Like, no, I'm not on board with this. I'm not okay with this. I cannot be a part of this. I'm going to go home. That's what he
And,
said.
but then Ian simps hard.
Oh, yeah. Ian, Mr. Simp here. I thought he was the rational one when the show first began, but man, how the tables have turned. He is,
A stupid son of a bitch.
yes. Yes, he is. To put it broadly, yeah, he's a stupid son of a bitch. Oh,
Why are
God.
they encouraging her? Why didn't they tell her to stop a long time ago?
I don't know. I don't know why they all simp for her, but they do.
Because I mean,
They really do.
originally at least it was all about her ego
Yes.
and her family's. I mean, not. I mean, it's understandable, but it was about validating her father and her mother's work.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, like as soon as bodies start dropping, be like, done. You're done. We're not.
Correct. Yeah. This is way too dangerous now. Way too dangerous.
Or at least that's what I would do. Like, I feel like any good person would do that if for a friend of theirs. They'd just be like, no, you're done.
Correct. Correct. Uh, Oren decides to leave, but before he leaves, apparently he just has a vast knowledge about the sewer systems.
Yep.
Conveniently, what they need to know when in regards to breaking Dad out. Apparently, he just knows that little tidbit of information he drops before he goes. So,
Amazing that these characters never have to do any research ever.
no, they don't. They don't.
At least one of them intrinsically just knows.
Yes. One of them will just know conveniently. What we got? All right. We got Raphael.
Who, because he's toxic, because he's the father, he screws up her escape plan and makes things infinitely more complicated.
Oh yeah. That's but before we get there, we got Miss Patriarchy just spewing out a bunch of mathematical terms and software terms and not knowing what the hell she's talking about.
Yeah, she uses the word algorithm when it's like running code, and what they wanted to use were the words code and program.
Yeah.
They use the word algorithm. It's like, no.
Cause she's so smart. She's so smart. So Jess breaks into the prison. Apparently there's just no guards around. But she does it anyway.
Yeah, there are no guards near the bathroom. I'm pretty sure there would be guards. There wouldn't be cameras, but there would be guards.
There would definitely be guards.
At least immediately outside.
Correct. She tells, her plan of escaping is compromised because the water levels have risen, and that
because the father won't shut up.
Yeah, because Dad won't shut the hell up. So Dad says, "Oh, I've got my own way of escaping the prison," which pretty much turns into a Shawshank-like situation with a hole in the wall.
But they also established that he tried several times to escape, and he built this over all that time. I feel like after there's an escape attempt, they would literally search the prison high and low for how they did it.
Yeah, you would think they would do that. They would cover their grounds, but...
And I don't think and if they did that, they would see that giant hole, and they would either fill it or put a guard immediately outside of it at all times.
Correct.
Or that's just me, but that just requires 5 seconds of thought.
Well, yeah. Unlike what they didn't, exhibit. So we make it outside. Dad's like, I got to confess something. I've always gotten this far, but I've never been able to make it past this point because there's a sniper. There's a sniper at that, at this location here before we get out. And she's like, well, what do we do? And he's like, well, you have to run across the field since you're fast, and I'll blind the sniper with the glare of this paper.
any father who tells his daughter to go and put themselves in immediate risk of gunfire is a shit father. He should have ran and said, blind the sniper.
He really does just play with her life, man. I'm like, wow, this is not what a dad would do at all. Not a proper father.
And then it goes into slow-mo for like 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh. There's the scene at this, here it is. Okay. There, oh God, this whole scene. Look at, I'll even play a little bit of it.
That's the speed this whole scene runs.
That's the entire. And it seems like it runs for like 5 to 10 minutes. Oh my gosh!
And like we're like, yeah, we get the point.
It's like we get it. It's dramatic. The glare hits the guy's face, and the bullets are flying in the back of her. Just missing her. There's one right there. Let's just play with my daughter's life. It's fine. Thank God she made it. Oh, another glare right there. Then he notices where the glare is coming from. I feel like this one is also slow mode, right?
Yep.
It just keeps going. It won't end. It just won't
It's
end.
like, guys, this bit has played out. You could have shaved 5 minutes off this episode and changed nothing.
Oh my
Just play
gosh.
it at real time.
Ah,
And like just do slow-mo on the frames where you see the bullet hit.
right. Right. So Raphael, he's ready. Her dad, he's ready to get shot. At this point, he's like, Jess, she's gonna make it, but he's like, you can tell right here. He's like, I'm done. Then conveniently, the sniper gets shot. Oh, there's here. Let's see if it shows. Oh my God. You know what, people? I'm sorry. This is like I would love to show you where the sniper gets shot, but this is
It'll
just
take way
wrong.
too long.
It'll take way too long. Needless to say, he gets to the gate. They end up leaving. Her friends are there, and they end up driving off. So that's that. Back in where is this? New Orleans?
Yep.
Is that where?
Yeah.
Back in New Orleans, Oren makes it home. He's trying to call them. They're not calling him back. He runs into Detective Ross here. And
she's the only one trying to help, and he's just completely blowing her off.
Yeah, she's the only one who wants to help. Like earnestly is like wants to help them, and no one's being cooperative. No one's cooperating at all. From this scene, I think we go to Anti-Cage. Okay, yeah. So we got the nurse, Sandusky's nurse, is working with Anti-Cage, the grandson, and he's calling back the henchman because he wants the henchman's cell phone to use to crack it so he can find Jess's location.
Because
my issue,
he's tracking everybody apparently.
Yeah. My issue is, so they sedate him, get the cell phone, they're on the computer. My issue is, why didn't they just take the phone and leave? Right? Like, you sedate this guy, he's unconscious, he's going to be unconscious for a while. You take the phone or whatever you need,
and you run out the back door. I know they have a guy, but still, you could run out the back door.
Correct. And at least have a half hour, 45-minute head start on, but instead they stay there and become compromised. I don't know, man. I don't understand. Back at HQ here, Ross is talking to her boss, which you theorize is Salazar. That's who you...
That's my theory based on the fact that they established later in the episode that Salazar is the Mantle.
Yeah.
So that's my guess. And he's a toxic white FBI agent. So
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna be like, I think you're right because of how they're portraying him as this toxic white male. He's so gung ho about Jess being guilty. He wants to wrap this case up really quickly. I think your theory might be correct, sir. We get to Jess and her friends and their parting ways. She's sending Simp Boy and Patriarchy back home while her and her dad are going to, one, go look for this book that he left, and two, wait for his coyote guy to smuggle him across the border, which he hasn't seen in over 20 years. So,
especially with how Billy is plugging holes, you'd think that he would be like, it probably won't work.
Correct. You would think.
Also, I feel like he's like, oh, this tree is a protected location. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be the easiest place if it's as well known and protected as you claim to hide shit.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Cut two, we get back to the house here. When the henchman outside, he's getting suspicious, which we know he would. Uh, Billy also becomes suspicious because she's, talking to her henchmen with her, and they're like, "Oh, how is this person's credentials in the system?" And he would never do that. So she ends up calling the phone. I don't know why Auntie Cage ended up answering the phone and talking to her, but he did.
He's dumb and white.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Henchman 2 comes in, guns a blazing, goes into the clue room. They end up locking him in.
Nurse dies though.
Yeah, nurse guy ends up taking a bullet and dies. But Auntie Cage does end up leaving. We get more of Jess and her dad talking and walking. Oh, we get to the tree that you were talking about there. That's where the book was. The book apparently is just, in some random tree that he put. No worries.
That is apparently sacred and well known enough to be both a funeral and wedding destination. So the fact that there's no one around there, bullcrap.
Yep. Patriarchy and Simp Boy here cross the border, but yet get arrested by the FBI. They were waiting for them to cross back. Then we get one of those, another puzzle scene where
he immediately affirms that Jess knew what she was doing more than he did.
He did. She's like, "Oh my gosh, this puzzle is of the stars in the sky, and of course I knew this. Duh, I know more than you." He's like, "Oh, you know way more than me. I don't know shit because I'm a man, and you're the bestest ever." And she goes, I know I am. That's why I'm the star of the show." Then Billy shows up because there's a tracker in Raphael's shoe that paranoid guy overlooked. But she put one there because she's always, a step ahead, as she proclaimed. She's always a step ahead, Billy.
And it's a tracker, not a bug, by the way, which is what they actually mean.
Yeah. She's like, not only did I track you, but I also heard your plans as well. It's like, oh my gosh. No. The show. So yeah, Billy ends up catching them both, and she's like, "I know it's at the Devil's Swamp, and if you don't come out and bring me my stuff, I'm gonna put a hole in your dad." And Jess is like, okay. So she ends up coming out and turning herself in and giving Billy everything that she has, and that's the episode.
I feel like Billy would have no problem just plugging Jess at this point.
I mean, at this point, at least the dad, you know what I mean? Like, she's already gotten...
that's the thing, it's like, once you've committed murder, you've committed murder. So
yeah,
there's literally no reason not to kill Jess or Raphael or both.
Right. Yeah, this episode it dragged. Those scenes were excruciating.
I was a little bored, I'll be honest.
No, yeah, I agree. My overall rating for this episode, probably a 3. And that's only because, yet again, I don't dislike Jess. So
yeah, it's just everyone around her that's a moron.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give it a 3 too. A 3 as well.
Yeah. So yeah. So any last remarks before we call it?
Only 2 more, I think. So that's nice.
That is nice. That's wonderful news. And that'll be we'll be wrapping up on our first series, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, hit that bell for notifications, share this video out there. You guys take care.
Bye, everyone.